Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome in. We're going to have our second discussion on Rome, and we're going to see the Roman Republic kind of morph into the Roman Empire today. So we got a lot to talk about. This will be one of the lengthier discussions and lectures, but I'm going to try to get going, and we want to talk about a lot of things. So let's get into this, and we'll take a look. So first off, again in the slides, there's a very famous painting, and it depicts the assassination of Julius Caesar, which is what we're going to finish up with today. So again, keep that in mind. It's going to be kind of our main theme for today's discussion. All right, so Rome spreads its power. All right, so Rome, again, kind of starting out up in that hillside in Italy, but now starting to expand. Okay, so Rome is going to first, they're going to conquer Italy. All right, Roman power grew steadily on the Italian peninsula. By the 4th century BC, the Romans had dominated central Italy. All right, eventually, they defeated the Etruscans. Remember, we talked about the Etruscans in the north, and then they defeated the Greeks, who were setting up shop in the south. By 265 BC, Rome had nearly mastered all of Italy. All right, Rome had different laws and different treatment for different parts of its conquered territory. For instance, the Latins on the Tiber became full citizens of Rome. Okay, so the Latins that were living in the Tiber River, they became full citizens of Rome, while the citizens that were further away from Rome enjoyed the rights of citizens, except the right to vote. So if the farther that Rome expanded out, different territories, the less likely people were to vote in those regions. Okay? All right, so Rome is really going to have this commercial network. What do we mean by commercial network? They're able to branch out and really utilize the Mediterranean Sea and all these different trade routes, which we're going to talk about right now. So, Rome's location gave it easy access to the riches of the lands that were along the Mediterranean Sea. All right, Roman merchants moved not only by land but also by sea, so they're moving out and about. They traded wine, olive oil, for a variety of foods, raw materials, and manufactured goods from other lands. However, other large and powerful cities interfered with Roman access to the Mediterranean. One such city was Carthage. Okay, so Carthage is going to be in modern day Tunisia. It's going to be on the opposite end of the Mediterranean Sea. All right, Carthage, they were originally a Phoenician colony. All right, its location along the North African coast provided to be very problematic for the Romans. All right, as Carthage rose in power, Rome saw it as a direct threat to their expanding empire. Okay, so you have to understand this. Two potential empires are growing. All right, and Rome is going to take the initiative to put a stop to that. So these two, as you can tell, are going to go to war. All right, so there's a really good map of Carthage. Gives you an idea. You've got the Italian boot. All right, you've got the peninsula where Carthage is jutting out into the Mediterranean Sea. All right, they're very close. And of course, when you have people that don't agree and don't see eye to eye, they're going to get involved in the conflict. And this is going to lead into the Punic Wars. Okay, in 264 BC, Rome and Carthage went to war for the first time. All right, this struggle would become known as the Punic Wars. All right, between 264 BC and 146 BC, Rome and Carthage are going to face off in three very distinct wars. Okay, the first Punic War is going to last 23 years. Hold on, what do we talk about when we have wars? They do three things, right? They kill people, they cost money, they change everything. And we're going to see a lot of changes here, in particular to what happens to Carthage. All right, but let's take a look at the First Punic War. All right, it's going to last 23 years, from 264 BC to 241 BC. All right, this was for control of the island of Sicily. You may have heard of that. So we look at the Mediterranean, we look at the Italian boot. I was thinking it was the soccer ball. So the boot is kind of kicking the soccer ball. That's the island of Sicily. All right, and these are also other parts of the Western Mediterranean that are at stake here. Rome is victorious. Okay, now the Second Punic War is going to begin in 218 BC. Carthage was now under control of a military general who was brilliant. All right, a tactician, a strategist by the name of Hannibal. Okay, Hannibal wanted to avenge and get revenge for Carthage's earlier defeat in the First Punic War. So what does Hannibal do? He's going to have a master plan here. He's going to assemble a massive army, all right, that included 50,000 troops, 9,000 cavalry, and 60 elephants. Yes, elephants. He's going to take with the intent on capturing and destroying Rome. Okay? Instead of a head-to-head attack, all right, Hannibal sought to surprise the Romans with a daring and risky move. All right? He led his army on a long trek from Spain across France and then through the Alps. The Alps are the mountain range that are dominant in Europe. All right? Despite losing more than half of his men and most of his elephants, all right, the general's move initially worked. It was a surprise. For more than a decade, he moved his forces up and down the Italian peninsula at will. All right, his best victory was at Cannae in 216 BC, where he inflicted heavy losses on the Romans. However, the Romans were able to regroup and prevented Hannibal from taking Rome. Okay. Finally, the Romans found a daring military general to match the leadership qualities of Hannibal. All right, and Hannibal's boldness. They found somebody to match that, and this man's name is going to be Scipio. So Scipio is going to devise a plan to attack Carthage. This is not going to be an ordinary attack. All right, the plan forced Hannibal to return to defend his city. In 202 BC, at Zama, which is near Carthage, the Romans finally get to defeat Hannibal. Okay, he had been this thorn in their side. He had been so problematic, and finally, the Romans were able to knock out Hannibal. During the Third Punic War, all right, from 149 to 146 BC, Rome is going to lay siege to Carthage. All right, in 146 BC, this is where now the plan to fully take over Carthage is implemented. The city is going to be set afire, and its 50,000 inhabitants were sold into slavery. So Carthage is torched by Rome in the Third Punic War. It basically gets destroyed, and that area is absorbed, and it becomes a Roman province. Okay, Rome's victories in the Punic War gave it dominance over the Western Mediterranean. The Romans went on to also conquer the eastern half. By about 70 BC, Rome's Mediterranean empire stretched from Anatolia to Spain. Okay, so it's becoming much larger. Got some really cool images here of Hannibal and his elephants going through the Alps, and then you have essentially the burning of Carthage as well. So take a look at those on the slides. All right, so here's the deal. Internally, Rome is having a lot of issues. The Republic is going to collapse. All right, Rome's increasing wealth and expanding boundaries brought many problems. Okay, they're stretching themselves too thin. They're going too many places. They're not focusing on the city of Rome. The most serious was growing discontent among the lower classes of society and a breakdown in military order. Okay, as Rome grew, a growing gap between the wealthy and the poor would emerge. Okay, the citizens who lived on the large estates, the big homes, were now being challenged by the farmers. All right, and the unskilled workers. These farmers were military veterans who gave up their land to serve. They thought, hey man, I spent my time, I did my military service, and now you're asking me to give up my land. They weren't very happy about that. Okay, most stayed in the countryside, while others would head into Rome looking for work. Two brothers, Tiberius and Gracchus, attempted to help the poor by giving them back their land. And this did not sit well with the Senate. The Senate saw this as a big no-no. They saw this as a big mistake. And both brothers, Tiberius and Gracchus, are going to meet violent deaths as a result. So the Senate lashes out at them for trying to make a change. Now, all of a sudden, you have a period of intense civil war. And it's going to occur because of their deaths. So the farmers, the lower class, they're going to rally the troops, and they're going to fight up against the upper class. Okay? So what we see here is a chance for the military to take advantage of all of this. We're going to see what we call military upheaval, and in a lot of ways a military coup. As the Republic grew more unstable, generals began to seek more power, and they're starting to attain more power for themselves. They recruited soldiers from the ranks of the poor. So hey, how do we get in favor? We're going to start recruiting people that were farmers, that were poor. All right, these generals are promising them pay. These soldiers would align with the power-hungry generals. This gave the opportunity for a general to take over by force. All right, in 60 BC, a military leader by the name of Julius Caesar is going to join forces with Crassus, who's a wealthy Roman, and Pompey, all right, who is a popular general. For the next 10 years, these men dominated Rome as a triumvirate. And a triumvirate is basically three powerful leaders. But let's talk about Caesar a little bit more, okay? Caesar was a strong leader and a genius at military strategy. Following tradition, he only served 1 year as a consul. We talked about that in the first discussion. He only served one year as consul. He then appointed himself as governor of Gaul, which was now modern day France. Caesar led his legions on a campaign that conquered all of Gaul. Okay, this would earn him respect and loyalty from the men of Rome. Remember, military heroes were essentially worshipped and loved and adored. All right, upon his return, Caesar would be challenged by the other military general, Pompey. Caesar would defeat Pompey's armies in Greece, Asia, Spain, and Egypt as Pompey was on the retreat. In 44 BC, what happens? In Rome, when there's an emergency, they appoint a dictator. But in 44 BC, Caesar is named dictator for life. Okay? Caesar now governs as an absolute ruler. However, he starts a number of reforms. All right, these reforms included granting citizenship for the newly conquered citizens. So if Rome expanded into a territory, they could grant citizenship for those that they conquered. He was also going to expand the Senate. He's going to create jobs, and he's going to construct new buildings. So all this is going on under Caesar. However, the Senate is not too happy about it. Here's a statue of Julius Caesar. So many nobles, people that have wealth, and people in the senators, those that are practicing in the Senate, they express concerns over Caesar's growing power, success, and popularity. He's becoming too full of himself. He's becoming too arrogant. He's becoming too powerful. All right. Others are going to consider him a tyrant. All right. So a number of senators, all right, led by Marcus Brutus and Gaius Cassius, are going to plot his assassination. And what we're going to have is the Ides of March. All right. On March 15th, 44 BC, they're going to stab him to death in the Senate chamber. He was stabbed 23 times. Prior to all this, Caesar's wife Calpurnia had warned him that she had seen a vision and that a dream had basically told her that this was going to occur. So she warned him not to go into the Senate that day. But Caesar is assassinated, and Rome is going to fall into even more turmoil. So this leader, this person who had been in such power, is all of a sudden taken out. And now Rome is going to have to pick up the pieces. And that's what we're going to talk about in our next discussion. All right? So good stuff there. A lot to absorb, a lot to think about, but we're going to get into more about Rome with our next discussion. All right, guys, thank you so much, and have a good one.